Action.
What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the XY Explain Why show. I am your audience host, Shay McCray. Now, I know a lot of times we get a perspective from a woman. Well, this time we're doing things a little different. We have a panel of all male from a male's perspective. Are you guys ready for the questions that we have to ask them?
Yeah.
Come on, y'all can do better than that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get started. I can do that again if you want to.
All right.
For this one,
Scene one, take three.
Okay. Ready and action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the XY Explain Why show. I am your audience host, Shay McCray. Now, sometimes we usually get a perspective from all women, but this time we're doing it a little different. We have an all-male panel from an all-male's perspective. You guys are ready for the questions that I have to ask?
Yeah.
I would like to introduce the panel for today's show.
Hi, I'm David Froch. Born and raised in a suburb outside of Detroit, Michigan, and I've been in Atlanta for 20 years now.
I'm Kieran McLeod, born and raised in the United Kingdom. I like to fight beetles. Believe it or not, crazy thing, people don't understand. But fighting beetles is like, it's a massive thing to do. And now I'm living in Atlanta, crazy.
So Evan Craig, my stage name is E. Craig. I'm known around Atlanta for making Americans smile again. Comedian that's been doing comedy for 7 years in the local area. Been doing comedy in the Atlanta area for the last 7 years. Here making all Americans smile again, one American at a time. You guys can get a nice yellow hat. You want to support the brand.
Cool. My name is Blake Lafida. I'm an actor, musician, and I'm from Tampa Bay, Florida. And I moved here not 7 or 8 months ago.
All right, so our first topic is alpha. All right, so our first topic is alpha versus beta. So, what is an alpha male or female?
Yeah, I guess everyone's perspective is different when it comes to alpha male, alpha female. I mean, I guess some people would say an alpha male is someone that's, in life, in their career, they know what they want, they're forward, straight to the point. It's everything is for them. So what I would say an alpha male and a female as well. But once again, everyone's perspective might be different what an alpha male and female is.
Yeah, I don't really know what my credentials would be on speaking to what it really means to be either one of those things. But I know that there are times in life where it certainly feels like you have an edge on this whole thing, and then it certainly feels like you're kind of falling behind. And so in that way, I really think that alpha beta is a mindset, and I think mindsets are transparent. So I think those roles are transparent. I don't think they really belong to any one person, especially not to any one gender,
Yeah, no, I agree exactly what you're saying. Then too, a lot of people don't realize a lot of guys that might try to act, all tough are really like beta males, or they try to overcompensate for it. And a lot of guys are, more relaxed and reserved are actually alpha males. They just don't have to tell everyone. They don't have to wear the shirt that says, "Hey, just so you know, I'm an alpha male." Hey, just or vice versa with an alpha female or a beta female. They don't have to really, tell. So, but I think with personalities, I do think there's a difference between a type A and a type B more than alpha beta, which we got time. We can definitely get into that.
Yeah, but I reckon with that, I would like to think someone has to lead and someone has to follow. I feel like we whether you put people in a category or a box, whatever the case may be, people have to lead and some people have to follow. That's just the rules of life.
But
Just
a
some law.
Well,
But
that's the
a rule-
basic, what it comes down to is a leader and a follower.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you only have like certain people that have enough confidence in themselves to be able to lead people, and some people like, and everybody else is just kind of follow along.
So with that being said, would you agree that a beta, male or female, is someone who follows?
Just somewhat. Yeah, just
Your,
somewhat.
your greatest leaders are built from following first, actually. So I would have to disagree with that. That you got to follow a system first. Like if you, I mean, if you look at sports, the best coaches in the league were assistant coaches at one point. So they were too following somebody.
Mm-hmm. And I think the graduation happens naturally with the flexibility of consciousness itself. You know what I'm saying? I think someone mentioned buck. You were talking about like the buck or something like you mentioned animals.
Oh, okay.
And the difference is, you know, in the animal kingdom, they're bound by certain parameters, and I think the flexibility of a life as a human is that you can continually transcend where you are right now, and so that graduation from being a follower to a leader happens in different paces, because sometimes I think people can get top heavy with confidence and behave or advertise as a leader and just not be ready to take on the responsibility and just not have the awareness of every avenue that they're handling as the leader. And maybe you just want the attention, or I know I'm susceptible to just wanting to seem credible to a certain extent. And so being the behavior and the quality of how you are starts to take over instead of the actual sustenance of what you have to offer as the leader. So the graduation from beta to alpha, it's got to happen like osmosis. It's got to happen like diffusion naturally.
Yeah, okay.
You can't act your way through it.
I don't agree with that.
How's
I think
that?
you have to work towards that. Like you have to be somebody who wants that and has to figure out how to get there. So
Do you believe that beta or alpha starts from when you're a child?
I think it all depends on how we're raised.
Conditioning.
So it's a conditioning. So, you know, you have some kids that are encouraged to go out there and just take on the world, and other kids are just encouraged to be like, kind of sit back and let other people do the thing. But then some people get out there that were raised that way, and they feel like there's more. Like there has to be something. They don't feel like it's enough for them, and then they take it upon themselves to like work towards those things that get them to where they want to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the way my parents raised me was, look, go out there and make something happen, because no one ain't gonna give you nothing. So that was installed in me from a young age, you know what I mean? So I've always had the confidence, and my confidence like a stain, it doesn't even wipe up, you know what I mean? Where it's like, go get it, make it happen, and that's what it is. Now, if I get put in a category where I'm an alpha male, then so be it. But at the same time, for me, it's been installed in me, so that's where I'm at with it.
Closed mouths do not get fed, so
Yeah, unless it's a slingshot.
that's a slingshot. These are just true non-fictional stories we're
Yeah.
talking about. I mean, I was taught at a young age, you see something you want to go after it. And you should go after it 100%. A champion is not someone that works 100 hours a week, but someone that works 100% of the time that they're, you know, out there working on their craft or, you know, their job or whatever the case is.
And you do the bending. We do the bending ourselves, which is what you're talking about, David. Yeah, we got to do the bending. Where does that gumption come from, though? Is it, you know, like isn't that the mystery? It sounded like it was kind of instilled, it was raised into you, kind of nature, nurture.
But David also made a good point, because yes, it can be instilled in you, but when being instilled in you when you're in a closed environment to going out in the wilderness is a completely different ballgame. Because like I said, yes, you can be instilled in you, but if you don't have that ability, that passion, that drive to go through, because then, you know, life is a funny thing. You're gonna get knocked down plenty of times. But if you don't keep going and driving, because we never know how close we really are to what we're trying to achieve, whatever the case may be. But if you don't keep going, you're never gonna know, right?
So good point. Since we're there, I want to stay there.
Okay.
Do you believe that two alpha males or female can have a successful relationship?
I actually do.
Really?
I do because
Explain.
I definitely feel two alphas can, because in a situation, two alpha females, they know they are comfortable in their skin, and they're comfortable to know when to fold them or hold them, as they would say. I am a poker player as well, so that's like a thing. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and a lot of times betas don't really a beta male, female, they might not know, or there might be a situation where one won't take the lead, but I feel two alphas will be able to figure it out.
So do you believe two beta can have a successful relationship?
Define success, I mean, I still think it can work out, but I feel that two alphas, I mean, I guess two alphas, that would be considered what they call a power couple these days. Like, you know, like maybe like, you know, you can look at like, you know, popular celebrity couples like Will Smith and Jada Smith. I would say those are, you know, alpha male, alpha female. They've had a good relationship. You know, they've worked in Hollywood. I mean, everyone's gonna have bumps and grinds. It doesn't really matter, but it seems like their problems are probably better than the average couple's problems.
Are you talking about the entanglement?
But I'm just saying, like,
carry on.
But every couple, you know, has problems. I mean, they're both very successful in their industry. I'm sure that the entanglement is not as bad as if, you know, it's two people, you know, in a different situation. The problems would be a lot worse. And, you know, so I think that I do feel that two alphas can make it work. That's probably what attracted them. You know, you can do maybe like the Obamas or something. You know, I would say they're both, you know, alpha, beta male. You know, or both alpha male, alpha female. And you know, not saying political beliefs or anything, but you know, it's just, you know, I think it can work out. What do you think, man?
I mean, I'm torn. Because if we take the title off, I'm not trying to go off the subject, but if we take the title, not alpha, not beta, right? It's just humans, right?
Yeah.
Just humans at the end of the day.
We're all people.
We're all people. And that whole titlement of two alphas, or alpha male, alpha female, of coming together, it's like, well, I know what I want, I'm a leader, you need to follow me. And it's like putting, for me personally, sometimes it'd be like putting two bulls in a red room. And if everyone knows, bulls don't like the color red. So if you put them in two rooms, they're going to end up clashing. Now, that could be the case, or it could be the case where the simple fact that, no, actually, you know what? You are, you know, encouraging me to get great, so I'm going to encourage you to get greater. You know what I mean? And at the same time, it could be like every king needs a queen, and every queen needs a king. You know what I mean? So you could always, you know, develop and evolve together, which is a great thing. But like you were saying, there's always going to be stumble blocks in the road. But it's up to the two individuals to, you know, surpass that if you can, and it's just effective communication. So I'm kind of like torn between it, whether it can work or it can't work. So it's just like, me personally, once again, I think it just boils down to the two individuals to make it work, have effective communication, and just make it blossom into something beautiful, or it could just be doomed.
That's probably because it's a gradient the whole way through. No, I've never known anybody who's through and through either one polarity.
Yeah.
Everyone's a gradient of both of those polarities, yin and yang. And if you have access to your one sensitive side or one more edgy side or something, those polarities are communicating with each other within yourself as well as with your partner. So in my relationship, at least, neither one of us are either always alpha or beta. I know that we're both pretty transparent in that way. There are certain settings where we prefer to follow or lead. And those polarities are constantly communicating with each other and ebbing and flowing. And so having a sense of flow, I think, is really important. And having a match of two, let's say you fall in love when the two of you are in more of an alpha state of your life, you might be less susceptible to flow. You might actually have a harder time if both of you are trying to lead, if both of you are trying to call the shots, because there's not a lot of listening going on with an alpha. because at the head of every successful alpha is a shred, at least a shred, that is listening to something greater than itself. No alpha is truly autonomous. It has its own religion. Not that it's religious to be a leader, but you must be listening to something greater than your own ideas to think you're smart enough to be presenting them.
What if you believe
You
it?
know?
I disagree with that.
Here we go. Okay.
So you don't believe that alpha can be submissive? That's pretty much what I'm getting from
Yes,
that.
well, I think that.
Hold on 1 second.
Repeat that question.
So you don't believe that an alpha could be submissive if that's the point I'm getting
That
from
it's a
you.
gradient. Every alpha has some beta.
It's not that I don't believe that. When he was talking about the point about that they're listening to something greater. They're not. If they're not listening, they're listening to the voices and the opinions in their head that make them right. They're telling themselves that they're right.
Good
So,
point.
but I think that like if you have people who work in a corporate world, you know, like you have very powerful men who probably come home and the spouse is the leader in that role. They're the ones who run the household, they make all the choices, like they're the alpha of the house. So I think you can go back and forth, you know, and sometimes people in very powerful positions in their personal lives, they don't want to make choices.
That's true.
Like they don't want to have to like also be that alpha outside in their personal life.
Do you believe that a male should hold the alpha position in the household?
Not necessarily, no.
Depends on the situation.
Alpha situation in the household. I think there has to be somewhat of a balance. Now, me in my household, do I take the alpha role? Sometimes. Does the wife take the alpha role? Sometimes she does. So I feel like it's just that perfect balance. But sometimes I'll be truthful, and she's probably gonna kill me for saying this. When she takes the alpha role and doing some things, I don't like it because it's not the way that I do things. You know what I mean? But I have to accept it because of the way that's how she does things. So it's coming to that common ground and understanding that's how she does things. And it's for me, it's for the both of us, for the family. So I have to understand that and agree with it. Even though in my head I'm like, well, I wouldn't have done it like that. But I ain't gonna say it out loud now, but I'm just saying, you know, that's just how it is, you know. So I agree with it and it's like, okay, well, that works. And she was like, do you like it? And I'm like, it's okay, but I would have done it this way. So it's just having that understanding.
Who's single on the panel? All right. The reason why I'm asking the question because I know in the dating world, in the dating scene, alpha woman can get run from a lot. I'm just being honest. So does that make it harder for you to date, being that there are so many more successful women out there and who become alpha by default?
Oh no, so I mean, hey, like I said, I feel that, you know, two alphas can make it work. You know, and like I'm the single person on the panel, so you viewers watching, you know, I'm single and I'm free to mingle.
You know what? And there's your alpha male right there.
I'm accepting applications. But yeah, I feel that, yeah, I feel where there's a will, there's a way. So I feel that two betas can make it work. Two alphas can make it work. I mean, two betas, I mean, really, what's a beta male for everyone on the panel?
Someone who's submissive, don't know what they want, likes to follow.
I think you can have any of the combination.
Yeah.
But if you have two
Okay.
people that are submissive, don't really know what they want, that means, that can still, they're gonna be happy with whatever.
So you guys really believe a beta male or female don't know what they want?
No, it could be. I'm saying there's
I don't
numerous
think
of
so,
stuff.
no.
I don't think so either.
There's numerous of stuff that can lead up to that. I'm not just saying that's just particularly just one thing. I'm saying there's numerous of stuff. That's what I was saying.
Neither of the roles have anything to do with awareness or wisdom. I think you can go between being in either position and be all the wiser for it. And so, first of all, I don't think it has anything to do with sexuality or gender. I think a male alpha, female alpha, when the male's an alpha, when the female's an alpha in the relationship, like, I don't know. I don't think of it as a wrestle. I think of it as a dance or just a walk. When you're walking somebody home, you walk next to them. You don't. Neither one is walking ahead or behind. The best walk is when you're walking together. And like obviously sometimes someone knows when the turn's coming up. Hey, we gotta head this way. We gotta head that way. And sex, like whether it's the man or the woman, like never really has any substantial part in it for me. So like a beta male is just the quality of a person who feels as though they need to step back and not be so much right now. Be a little more. I think it's just the fact of being internal is what it is to be beta.
I mean, I agree with that because I think you can have leaders. I mean, just look at our government, our former administration. Very much, made himself an alpha by bossing people around, but very insecure.
Completely unwise.
Oh, you can be
Completely
100% alpha male if you're insecure.
Not always.
It's kind of
I
hard.
think if they know how to deal with their,
Insecurity.
it can be a mindset where you can be completely insecure,
Top heavy.
or you can be an alpha and know how to treat people like underneath you and how to guide people in the right way.
Good point. Well, you guys, stay tuned. We have more of the all-male panel on the XY Explain Why show. I just felt like that was my cue. I don't know.
Perfect.
All right, cut.
We always get a woman's perspective from things, but this time we're going to do things a little different. We have an all-male panel with the all-males perspective. Are you guys ready for the questions that I have to ask them? I would like to introduce the panel of XY Explain Why show.
Hi, I'm David Fritch. I was born and raised in a suburb of Detroit, and I've been in Atlanta for 20 years now.
How you doing? My name's Kieran McLeod, born and raised United Kingdom. I go by TV personality, radio host, model, as you can see, and yeah, I do a lot.
Evan Craig. My stage name / nickname is E. Craig. I've been doing comedy in Atlanta for the last 7 years. Here trying to make all Americans smile again, one American at a time. Catch me at your show or the local bar.
My name is Blake Lafida. I'm an actor, musician, and I'm from Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida. And I moved to Atlanta about 7 months ago, and I'm out here having a good time. That's it.
Put your hands together for the panel.
Considered, a beta male provider. He's saying, hey, I got this nice house. You wanna come live in it? And it's basically, you're trying to exchange. Whereas, alpha males be like, hey, I'm a cool person. You should hang out. But so that's kind of, a podcast I like. I would recommend anyone to check it out. Alpha Male Dating Strategies. I've been watching it. The guy's pretty funny too. He's a comedian that has a podcast called Alpha Male Dating Strategies. So I would say more alpha males are more, they're secure, they're comfortable in their own skin. And a beta male would be someone that's not as comfortable in their own skin, more insecure, just not 100% comfortable yet.
So you think that innately what it is to be a beta is innately insecure, innately just not a trailblazer, I guess?
Not a trailblazer?
Yeah.
He ain't talking about the team.
He's not talking about the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, I think what you're saying is basically, so the beta person has to sell themselves to somebody. So they have to highlight their highlights about themselves because they're insecure, whereas an alpha person is so confident in themselves that they don't have to sell themselves in order to get people to like them.
Right,
Exactly, yeah.
Wait, so, okay, if we're hearing you correctly, you guys feel as though a beta male or female is someone who is less secure with themselves?
Oh, I didn't say that. Those three said that.
Not as a panel. I asked the question. I'm under the opinion that it's completely transparent and that confidence and awareness and wisdom can come equipped with literally any person, and that they're not really conditions of action, in the sense that like an alpha might be very active in the sense that they're taking steps to get ahead, whereas a beta may be letting it happen in a more natural way. Not that taking steps is unnatural, but people that I think that of when I think of beta, I think of people who are just more patient to let something happen on its own time. And the fault there might be that a beta might actually become very lazy and maybe have a problem with anxiety because they're such a victim all the time. And I don't think anybody is absolutely beta or alpha. I think that everyone's a mix of both of those polarities because they are polarities, and nobody is a full-fledged polarity.
So you're getting to that topic for yourself, for example. What would you say for percentage-wise alpha beta, since you say everyone's kind of a mixture?
Yeah, I think like the moments where I might be listening to someone else talk for a while is a beta moment. It's innately the wisdom of listening and following.
Oh, we got you there.
He did. he got the intellectual. He's just like,
Yeah.
He couldn't even give it. But I do agree with what you're saying though. Like everyone has different alpha, beta traits, and some days you might just be like, I'm an alpha male. So other days you're like, I'm a beta male. But I look at it like if you're sitting back and letting things happen, you're still an alpha male because you're not crossing in someone else's lane. A lot alpha males always know their lane, whereas a beta male just all they know is how to just how to
Take
a
over.
scene, how to just cause a scene. Like that's one thing. You hang out with a lot of beta males, you will see people causing scenes for no reason. And they might be
They got something to prove? Is that
they
what
got
you
something to prove. They might cause a scene, so security comes and they don't get their teeth knocked out. Whatever the case is, beta males will cause a scene if you're hanging out with them.
So what's your definition of a beta male and female?
A beta male, I feel that they cause scenes. They they will mess up. I would say business, pleasure, vacations, social outings. They coming for me. Social outings. And I feel alpha males just know how to stay in their lane. I'm not saying that they have to be a leader. They gotta be a CEO or executive. But I just feel that alpha males just know how to stay in their lane. Have a good time. How to if they impress a date, how to conduct themselves in a professional way, how to do business. That's how I look at it. I don't think that you have to necessarily have a certain job title or not to be alpha or beta male or female. I just feel it's more how you carry yourself and how you see yourself and what you see when you look in the mirror.
Do you believe that whether you're alpha or beta starts from when you're a child?
I would say yes. For me, I'm an alpha, believe it or not. For my parents,
We believe you.
Oh, yeah. My parents installed into me from a young age where, have that mentality to go out there and make stuff happen, go after what you want, go after your dreams, aspirations, and all of that. And, sometimes take charge in the household, be a man, be a provider, because that's what was installed in me, which is a great thing, it's a great aspect to have. Some women don't like it, some women do. Some people, some alpha males feel like it's, they like to have full control of everything, and I feel like in life, you cannot have full control over everything. You have to give and take, So for me, I believe, being an alpha male, it's installed in me at a young age, and believe it or not, I'm sweet 16, so obviously, it's still a good thing. Okay?
So I'm gonna add to this. So just to establish, alpha male and females, they both have the same characteristics. According to the definition, they're both defined the same way, so there's no difference between the two. But in terms of what he's saying about learning to control, you can only have control over yourself. You don't have a control over anybody else and what anybody else does, says, thinks, anything like that. So, but I think as humans, it's in our nature to want to control everything around us.
Yeah, it's true.
Even women. men like to control women and women like to control men. Like I said, who's gonna lead, who's gonna follow? And whether you fit in the category of following or leading, I guess only time will tell with that, right? I mean, you know, whether you like to be submissive or whether you just like to just be in control. I mean, you was telling me earlier you like to be submissive, right?
So let me ask you, who's single on the panel? Of course, right? The submissive one. So in the dating scene right now, I hear that, from what I hear, okay, that successful women could come off as being alpha women, and it's very difficult to date them.
And I disagree. I look at a successful woman as a backup retirement plan. The comedy doesn't get take off. Like I try to talk to only successful women. If a woman isn't, as I would say, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I don't mean no disrespect, but if she's not have settled in her career, or settled in something, then I mean I don't really have too much in common to talk. Not, we can still be friends. I'll friend zone people.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
But that's an example you run from a successful alpha woman.
No, not as successful. I'm saying one that's not successful.
So you're running from the non-successful woman.
Yeah, successful woman. That's a retirement plan. We can talk right now. Like I said, I am single and free to mangle. And I will fill my application out right now. I know a lot of times successful women have problems talking to men because they're intimidated by it. I am not intimidated. And I'm not one of those guys that are like, you're always working, you're busy. Now that right there is something only a beta male would do. Tell a successful alpha woman that she's too busy, she needs to spend more time with them. You can go to work 168 hours a week. I am good.
I would say this, I can keep backing up what you were saying. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a percentage of men that are scared of a successful, career-minded alpha female that knows what she wants out of life. Why? Maybe it's, well, you make more money than me, you're gonna be the breadwinner, all these subconscious things in the back of your mind, as I feel like it's part of the system where we're grown up as males, where you're supposed to be the alpha male, you're supposed to take care of the house, you're supposed to be in charge. And me personally, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, at the same time, I feel like it's, for me, if I was dating a career-minded alpha female who was up there, I'd be like, that's empowerment. That's encouraging me. Okay, you're doing well. I need to do well. And that's how you keep elevating each other, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I guess it's just numerous of stuff where, whether it's down to the male's perspective, where I just can't do that because their own subconscious mind is telling them, well, you're going to be looking down on me. I'm not bringing nothing to the table. And to me personally, I think it's just excuses. You either want to do it or you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, a powerful woman is going to be, she knows that you don't have any money or you don't have enough to bring to the table. You might just bring love. That's what she might need, because everyone is missing a piece of something which they need to be fulfilled. So that's what she's probably looking for, love. She don't need the finances, she already has that, but she's missing the love. And if you can fulfill that part of her, that will make the whole relation complete. God damn good.
That's really good.
But I think it's interesting how what's been brought up here is that everybody defines success is by how much money you make.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
And that to me is where I lose it, because I don't fall in love with a Wikipedia page. I don't fall in love.
You can make those up,
I don't fall in love with a resume. I fall in love with the quality of a person. And so someone who's successful, I don't think it has anything to do with gender. I don't think it really has anything to do with sexuality, sex, or gender. I think if someone is successful, it means they've taken a lot of time to pay attention to their story. And so that might mean that they didn't make any room for something as illogical as love. Because there's nothing logical about falling in love. You don't do anything smart when you're falling in love. And if you're dating, then there's a lot of intellectual games that come with that, where you're looking for the right resume and the right Wikipedia page, you're looking for an alpha or a beta, and I don't know anybody who's ever fallen in love and has had any concerns with these smart sorts of qualities about somebody. We don't use this terminology regularly. Oh, I think she's an alpha because she's successful, and oh, I think she's gonna make me a lot of money. The Romeos of the world fall in love with a quality about a person. So someone successful might be really hard to get close with, and so someone might be falling in love with the pursuit of someone who's not open to falling in love. My relationships in the past and the relationship that I'm in now started with both of us were in almost an identical place in our spirit. Financially, I mean, we were both in college, so I guess you can say we were both in like a same sort of area of success, but none of that had anything to do with it. So success in the game that is society just has nothing to do with love for me.
Okay, Mr. Romeo, I
Yeah,
have a
well-
question for you.
That's me.
Romeo,
Sorry.
Romeo, wear that off, Romeo.
Yes, you wear that well. Can two alpha males or females have a successful relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
How about
talking-
beta?
Yes.
Yeah, they might have more problems, I would say, or challenges.
Okay,
but,
explain.
I mean, like they might you know, like for example, a lot of times with betas, we've on this panel, people were saying that betas let things kind of come to them. They're more patient.
You said that.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you said that.
I did not say that. That was I think that was Blake.
What I said?
You said that betas kind of just let life come to them. They're more patient.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, my
Beta
bad.
might be
So, like,
sitting
let's
back.
say if it's like, what are we doing this weekend, or where are we going on vacation? Like, no one's gonna really say anything. Whereas if two alphas, there's gonna be one person that's adamant to go to like Vegas, another person adamant to go to California. But you know, if it's two alphas, you know, you alphas, I feel, do understand the thing called compromise. So they're like, all right, we'll go to Vegas, rent a car, and drive to LA. That's how two alphas, I feel, will handle the situations, whereas two betas, they might not ever figure out where they're gonna go on vacation.
There's more
They might stay at
safety.
home.
There's
Yeah,
more planning.
more
We
planning.
want to know.
Exactly, more planning.
But I think alpha and beta are energies. They're not types of people. They're tools that you can use to get whatever you want done. So you can use alpha energy to make a perfect plan, and it goes down to the cell exactly the way you want it to go using alpha energy, right? And beta energy, you can let something come, like, you know, if you're hunting, you need beta energy to sit back and be patient, but it takes alpha focus to have that discipline.
That is
You
true.
know what? That's a great analogy. I like that, and I never looked at it like that. I agree with both of them. But one thing I will say is this: I feel like, yeah, we can generalize and pull it into a bubble in a category, but whether you're alpha male or beta, whatever the case may be, you're just human. You know what I mean? Let's take that out of the equation, even though that's what we're talking about. But take that out of the equation, and you know, if somebody wants to get, if somebody wants to lead. If someone wants to follow. If you just want to have that perfect balance and in harmony, just have that. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where the pressure is. Whether you put into a category, then it's like, oh well, we got to do this or we got to do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's where I'm at with it. That's why I'm torn, because like I said, you could have a, you know, a alpha male or alpha female. They're gonna argue or get on, and vice versa. So it's just up and down. You know what I mean? It's just down to the two individuals to actually go home and have to kind of like deal with that, if you know what I mean. Sometimes you just want to like, yeah, you know what, make the wife deal with it. You know, that's her. This is her. You know, her kingdom. Make her call the shots. I just follow, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. So I feel like it just depends. I mean, for me, when I go home, depending what mood I'm in, I'm taking charge today. I'm cooking dinner. This is where we're going, and that's it. And the wife will follow, or be vice versa. You know what I mean? Even though sometimes some of the stuff that she wants to plan, I'm like, I'm not really with that. But you know, when she takes charge, you know, that's the give and take relationship that we have. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it.
I think like it's exactly what you're saying. It's like if you have one person, like spouse, that stays at home all the time, if they're like your parents, and they're the ones that stay home, whether that be the man or the woman, like let them run the household. They're there from day to day. They know what's going on. Now you can learn in case you need to step in, but let them do it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. If you're at home all day, a meal should be cooked for me. You guys, keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. More from our all-male panel from the XY Explain show. Now, the first topic got a little heated when we started talking about the alpha versus beta, male or female. This one is even more interesting. We're talking about men and women being friends. Are you guys ready for my next question? Can a male and female be friends without any past or future sexual attractions or episodes?
Hell no. No.
I'm gonna have to go on the opposite spectrum. Hell, motherfucker, yeah. For real, like it's like some of my best friends are women, like for real. Like it's never been like one's tried to talk to the other, so I think that it's very good. Like the friend zone is cool, and
That happened a lot.
it happened a lot. Yeah, it happens vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's how my man here, has his girl. I'm friend zone her, and he ended up talking.
So that is the perfect example.
What?
So you said they become friend zone. So if you are in a relationship and you have someone who's now in the friend zone, but you're also in a relationship, do you think that person or your significant other would be okay with you still being friends with that person?
I mean, they have to be. Like it's like.
Oh,
Have to.
have to.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just like.
Explain.
You gotta understand. It's basically. I look at it like if you're friends with someone of the opposite sex, that's like your significant other saying you can't be friends with one of your homies.
Wait, the homies you don't like at one point and then friend zone them.
She got one.
Oh no, okay.
That's
Talking about.
Oh,
Look,
that's not saying she got a point. That's all I'm saying.
I can come to the rescue here. Look, I think if you believe that there is such a thing as mutual trust, then you can understand the concept of having opposite sex heterosexual friendships. It's not unheard of to be attracted to someone of your this is all from the premise of heterosexuality as well, which I need to point out. Because men and women are not innately going to have some sort of sexual contention out of just if we're in a heteronormative situation and there's a man and a woman who maybe have had attraction to one another in the past, it's gonna be confusing. And I think ultimately, as long as a conversation can happen and you can be real with each other about look, we've tried being platonic. Sometimes you have to say goodbye. Sometimes you do. That definitely is a real thing that you need to know when it's time to do. But I don't think it's unheard of to have two heterosexual people of the opposite sex to be friends.
Yes, that's very true.
And your partner hopefully understands that and can see that your friendship is truly platonic.
Well, it depends how secure the person is with themselves.
Right, I was just about to go there.
That's why
So
talk to
really
alpha
insecure
females.
people are not going to be okay with that.
Yeah, so that's a
Talk to alpha females.
Yeah.
Remember, they secure. The alpha female will be okay with it. But normally, as women say, we start off as friends anyway before we start dating. So a lot of times you might meet someone at work, or at school, or just catching the same bus, or going to the same social event. So you started off as friends anyway, and sometimes it might lead to more. A lot of times it just leads to we just friends.
well, let me correct you on that. Most men start off as friends. Women, when they go in, they already think that you the man. I'm letting you know that now, okay? That's what they put on their mind.
Okay, so that's you know what? Thank you.
Good
for bringing
point,
that.
right?
Yeah, very good point. Now, effective communication is where it stands, right? If you take this with a grain of salt. If you verbalize what you want as it's just friends and that's it, lines shouldn't be crossed. But as humans, one is gonna fall for each other, where it's I like his personality, or I just like him being alpha male, or whatever the case may be. But if you specify and say, look, I'm not trying to cross these lines, because if you cross these lines, the friendship is no longer going to be there anymore. It's going to be ruined. So I feel like, once again, it's just me personally. I think if you have that open, effective communication, you can be friends. That's just my personal.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, come on,
I think,
David,
like,
like, really?
no, because I think you can have two people that, like, you have to look at, if your mindset is that it's gonna lead to something more, then that's where you're both gonna be.
Yeah, but okay, we're talking about two individuals or what?
Right.
It's gotta be two
So like,
individuals.
if you're friends for a long time,
Yeah.
and something happens, you could just say, well, that happened.
And
It
forget
was an
about it.
experience that we shared, but we're not really feeling that way about each other. Like,
Yeah, but then
as far as a relationship goes, it was just something that happened.
And I get-
you can go, but there's always going to be people who are maybe more into it, that like person than the other person is into that.
I agree. Do you believe that can ruin a long time friendship after going there?
Probably in most cases, yes, because most people aren't secure enough to like have it be a separate thing.
if you're friends for, say for instance, you friends, this is my opinion, you're friends from school days, high school days, and you're just friends, you travel the world or whatever the case may be, and you're just great friends, you have that relationship, you know what I mean? And everyone knows what it's like to have a good friend, you know what I mean, a good friendship where you can depend on that person, left, right, and center. And I feel like if you cross those lines, whether i.e. it's sexual intercourse, whatever the case may be, and then it doesn't work out, that's not my personal opinion. It's not gonna go back to where it was. You're not gonna have that solitude of that friendship, that basic. That's not gonna be there. That's gone out the window because you've crossed lines.
Well, that's what she was asking.
No, I know what you're saying. That's just
Yeah.
I was backing up what I was saying.
Yeah. But I think some friendships can have benefit packages too. You know, just depends.
Says the single guy. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I mean, it just
Elaborate.
depends on the friendship. Like, you know, like some friendships have benefit packages. Other friendships can be, you know, acquaintance type, you know, friend group type friendship. And then you got friendships where, you know, y'all are actually like really good friends. You have a lot in common, but you know, at the end of the day, you don't cross that line ever. You know, so I don't think all men, women friends are created equally. You know, some are created differently. But I do feel that all men, women friendships matter. You know what I'm saying? They just are different things. And you know, some friends, yeah, we have a little benefit package. You know what I'm saying? So
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise you?
No, not at all.
Do you need any friends?
You know, I leave that right there. So, I know you're married, right? Okay, so let me ask you this. If your wife introduces you to a guy friend, a male friend, and said, hey, I dated him 7 years ago,
Oh, I'm calling the FBI. Yo, I need to check on all of this.
but we are just friends. It didn't work out, and here we are as just friends.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
It's acceptable because she's being open and honest.
And they hanging out, and they going to the mall together, and they probably go out to eat and stuff like that.
Watch
out.
I can't let you go out like that, bro. I can't let you go out. Hear me out. I see, this is the thing. It's acceptable because she's open and honest. Now, I'm secure about our relationship, and I have the trust. You have to trust people to a certain degree until that trust is broken. Now, once again, as individuals and personal choices, if you're going to go back there, then that's your personal choice. No matter what I say, it's not going to make a difference. You're going to do what you want to do, regardless of what I say and what we have. Now, if you feel going back to your past is, I know, something great for you, or you want to re-spark or kindle whatever you had, that's your prerogative, that's your choice. But guess what? Hey, you had something special over here. We're not going to go back and forth and say, oh, it was a mistake, it was a drunken moment. We're not doing any of that. You knew what you was doing in the moment, you wanted to rekindle something, and now you're going to miss out on something which you had, because obviously you thought the grass was greener over here, and now you're in dirty water, so you can stay over there in the dirty water, and over here I'm going to do what I'm doing, and that's just where we're at with that.
I wouldn't even let you be able to go out like that, man. Like, they used to date, like, it's different. Like, if she said, okay, we were friends and we studied together, that's one thing, but we dated, we tried to make this work. One of those two people are going to want more feelings.
Very true, but the past is the past. You can't judge someone. You can't ultimately think, well, you know what, yeah, they did that, but that's where the trust comes. You have to allow to trust that person. If you don't, if trust is not there, it's never going to work. You're always going to think, well, you know what, damn, what are they doing? That plays in your subconscious mind all the time when she's going out with that person. You have to allow yourself to be like, you know what, I will give you that trust.
I never get
Use the
insecure.
example of like 7 years have gone by, this person comes back into their life, and she just views it as a friend, and they're just friends. Like, are you gonna be okay with that?
I'll
Or-
perfectly fine with
I
it.
mean, or do you feel like it would be better for her to, the sooner the better, to introduce him or her to the current partner so that they can like understand that this is just friendship, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but people say that, and they say that all the time, you know what I mean? It's just a friendship, but yet the people are still gonna do what they wanna do, you know what I mean? So it's still a personal choice.
So pretty much you don't trust it.
No,
That's
I
what I'm
trust
getting from you.
I mean, I trust it until the trust is broken. That's where I'm at with it.
I look at it as, I mean, unless maybe like, all right, like say this, if you're married and he's married and y'all are both married, I mean, you kind of then.
What? There's still a possibility, right?
There's
I was
still a
gonna say,
possibility.
most married couples cheat.
There you go,
I'm
it's still a
confused
possibility.
right now.
There's a possibility, but you kind of have to let it slide.
Why? Because they're married?
Because they're married. I mean, y'all gonna be on double dates a lot. Like you kind of, I mean, you
They
got.
don't want to be doing the
Why would you
most.
let it slide? Why would you let it slide?
I mean, you kind of. I mean, you said you trust your partner,
I trust my partner.
so then you gotta let. But if he's single and she married, like, nah, that
But
just
why-
ain't gonna. That's just not gonna
What's
work.
he doing there?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But why you guys are prejudging is of the status of the title because
Yeah.
they're married. They're trusted. They're not going to do anything.
I think the circumstances are way too intellectualized right now because I think here I'm the Jedi. I'm gonna say search your feelings. It's really always gonna be about how the situation feels. You're gonna be able to smell it the second that it comes in the room. If it's like that,
What are you talking about?
That-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the stickiness. I
Yeah,
like
okay,
that.
I
I
you
like
can
that.
you can feel when the intentions are right
Yeah.
or wrong. You can the eyes never lie. There's usually evidence when something weird is going on, and there's usually a change in behavior if there's cheating. There's a change in your patterns. If you're being in love in a certain way, and then all of a sudden once this person comes in and they start hanging out and whatever, and your love is like severely warped because of that, maybe you'll be able to smell what's cooking before anything really comes to a head. But what you're saying, if you trust in your love, if you trust in like what's meant to happen is what's meant to be, yada yada, then like you should allow for things to play out. You have to let things play out, because then you can't be putting your foot down without a warrant. You can't be having no reason to force control over things just out of your anxiety and paranoia. It's never gonna work out well.
But I will say this: there's some male or female that are very good at playing both sides, married or not married, cheating or not cheating. You know what I mean? And some people can't tell whether there's been a change or a dynamic in the relationship or marriage. You know what I mean? Some people can't
So
tell.
start garnering awareness and communication then.
Very true.
You
But
know?
then let's just say some people choose to ignore it and feel like, oh, why my partner would never know, would never do that because they feel like they know their partner very well. Whether you be married 20 something plus years, you know what I mean? So,
I think they know, they just don't want to admit it.
well, that's another thing.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
denial. They just want to deny it.
And if you live in denial, you know what happens. It keeps on happening over and over and over again, and then, the cycle doesn't get broken.
So the introduction could just be a cover up. If I introduce you as a past friend, whatever we're doing, they would never know. Pretty much, that's what I'm getting from you, right?
That's pretty sinister, I would hope that like if I'm madly in love with someone, they wouldn't do me like that. And if something that sinister were to happen, like I probably had it coming, because there's probably more than just one behavioral pattern going on that's showing the wickedness of a person who would do something like that. You don't just turn around and have a whole operation of mistrust going on while everything else is in order. If you're in touch with your partner, if you're in touch with the patterns of your relationship and you're actively garnering more experiences and you're growing together, it's never, the chamber that you two share is untouchable by anybody else. And your awareness of that untouchable area of love is enhanced the more experiences you share together. So something as backdoor as like using the guise of a friend.
If it's not going to be one time, it's going to be multiple times.
Yeah. If you're and different people.
So what you're saying is that if you're a cheater, you're never thinking about your spouse or significant other.
You're just thinking about yourself.
Wow.
That's I agree with that. I do agree with that. Because if you have something special at home, I mean, so you say you have something special at home, but you're still venturing out. It's like, oh, I'm doing it for my own selfish needs, if you know what I mean. But once again, if you have the thought of obviously mental capacity of just thinking about cheating, what's missing? There has to be something missing in order for you to be going elsewhere. My personal opinion, again, I mean, 9 times, I mean, there's numerous of reasons why people cheat, you know what I mean? And you actually, I mean, I'll tell you a story. So, for instance, when I was young, this was like when I was like, maybe like 12. I had a
You cheated a
girlfriend.
lot?
Yeah, I'll be straight. I'll be straight. I cheated a lot. I'll tell you
At
straight.
12?
Yeah!
Okay.
20 years.
Alright, maybe not 10, maybe 15. But anyway, I was in school. And, you know, obviously, being in school, I was just like, you know, I just had a lot of girls on the go, you know what I mean? But I wasn't thinking about their feelings and how they felt. I was just telling them what they wanted to hear, you know what I mean? But it was when I had one in my head, my thought process was like, I need to get another one. And then I wanted to get another one, and then the numbers kept on growing. It's like, yeah, it's way too much. I don't want to do this no more. It's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? So then, I mean, I guess it's like, you know, at that age, or I'll tell you straight, I was immature. Wasn't really thinking about anything else. I was just thinking about, once again, my personal needs and what I can accomplish. What I was accomplishing, I don't know what, but you know, the more girls, the more fun. You know, so I felt that it's down to your own personal, selfish needs. Once again, I think that's where we're at with it.
As I always say, the only thing better than having one fine woman is to have 2 fine women. So, but no, one thing I think that can lead from it to be a thought and and actually happen is alcohol. Like that.
So you gonna blame it on the alcohol?
I'm gonna be like
That's what we
Jamie
doing
Foxx.
right now.
I'm gonna blame it on the blame it on the vodka, blame it on the Remy.
And that was gonna be my next question, because I know he said that a lot of times something's missing. But with men tend to, well, the statistics shows that men cheat more than women. But they don't show that there is something missing. They show men just do it for their own selfish satisfaction or whatever y'all do it for. Not y'all, but in general, okay? So with that being said, do you believe alcohol plays a major part?
Oh yeah, of course.
In the facilitating of it, maybe, but in the root of it, no. Like, I don't think that a lack of faith is origined in substance abuse. I think that substance abuse is an indicator of a seriously troubled state. Like, if I don't think it ever has anything to do with something that the partner, well, I can't speak in absolutes like that, but I think most of the time it's gonna have something completely to do with a self-righteous cause.
Yeah.
And if something is lacking in the relationship, and if you really care for the relationship, you're not gonna cheat. You're gonna do everything that you can to desperately try and heal the relationship. I think a lot of reasons that somebody might cheat or seek elsewhere is it could be as simple as the desire to see other people and explore. It doesn't have to be a malevolent act. I think it's a damaging act, but I don't think the butt of it is evil. And I definitely